Hi everyone, so today we're looking at how a laminating machine can enhance your card making. Now I've put my laminator here so that you can actually see it as it comes out of the machine, and we're going to look at all different sorts of techniques. So the first technique that we're going to look at is simply laminating toppers. So these are hunky-dory toppers in one of the little books, and we've got laminating pouches here. Now laminating pouches come in different thicknesses. These that I use are the thickest ones, so these are 125 micrograms each side, so it makes up to a 250. But you can go down to 75 and they will be flimsier, but they'll still have a nice, attractive cover to them. So let's have a look what we've got here. We've got our laminating sheet, we've got our toppers that we're going to laminate, and I have some scrap paper. So I've cut this roughly the same size as my laminate sheet. And it's just basic copy paper. All you need is a thin layer. So I'm going to take 2 sheets of paper, and the laminate sheet has a heat activated adhesive both sides, so it will weld itself together. So let's take first of all the teddy bear. We're going to place it face down on this back sheet. Then I'm going to add a couple of sheets of copy paper. It can be anything that you've got. And we're then going to take this one face up. So we're going to fold that down, and we've now made a sandwich. So we have 2 separate toppers, and I've deliberately chosen one that's landscape and one that is portrait. Okay, my machine is warmed up, and the machine that I use doesn't have a carrier sheet. Some laminators need you to put it inside a carrier sheet, and to be honest, that takes away some of the heat. I like to use one without a carrier sheet, so I fed it in. So here is my toppers coming out, and I like to have them coming out, at this case, on my hand. If I'm doing some that are just coming out, I have a support underneath. Otherwise, when it comes out, it will drop down onto your table and it will start to curl. So there are my 2 toppers. There's the other one. And all around the edge, it has sealed the laminate together. So I'm going to take my scissors, and staying on the outside of the paper, I'm going to cut the edges. So I'm taking off where the laminate is sealed together. So that has separated now. Because I had the pieces of scrap paper, they have welded to here and they've welded to this. So we've got 2 pieces welded together. So now I can take this and I can cut round. I can die cut it if I want to. So there is my kitten, and if I bring it up, it is now laminated and it's made a really high gloss finish. So if you cut away, your piece of scrap paper will just drop away from the back. So you're not adding extra weight. We'll show that in a minute. So there we go. The front laminate will never separate from the topper. There's no way you can get that off now because it's heat sealed. So there's my pieces of scrap paper. Let's get rid of those. And there we have two beautiful toppers that we can do exactly what we like. I'm not making up the cards because there's so many tutorials on how I do that. So I'm leaving those there. Now we're coming to this one. This was a shaped topper, and it's got gold foil around it. And this is just showing you how I've laminated this one. So it's got a lovely finish to it. So pop that to one side. And same way with this one is I put them back to back and I laminated both at the same time. Okay, so we're going to take this one and just do a very simple card. Take those off. I've folded a quick Z fold, so a normal card folded back in half. And I just wanted to show you positioning that one on there. We now have a lovely, really sturdy topper. Okay, does mean that you can use more flimsier pictures, put them in the laminator, and you've suddenly got a really strong topper that's not going to bend on the front of your card. Now, this got me really excited. Let me move these out the way. This got me really excited. Look at this beautiful picture. Now, this is a serviette laminated. So it's really exciting. So let's put that to one side. This one here, I have die cut an aperture and I've laminated the napkin and fitted it on the back, and I've put an insert in. If you left it with no insert, I don't know if I can show you that, you'd be able to see straight through it. So you can get some very expensive papers now that have this effect. Now you can make your own. So let's put that to one side because we're going to show this. Now I've picked out a serviette here. I think I'll use this one, which is what I used before. Now, a serviette usually has 4 pictures. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. Put that one aside because that's another 2 that I can use. I'm going to laminate 2 together. So I'm going to fold that in half. I don't have to worry that one's now the other way round. Here's my laminate sheet. Open it out, place it in. Now, part of my serviette has got this dimpled edge to it, which I don't particularly want to put on the card. So I'm going to place that on there. It doesn't matter that it's hanging out of the laminate sheet. So there's that. I'm going to pop it into my laminate machine, and we'll just give it a couple of minutes to come out. Here it comes out. Again, I'm going to support it. If I wasn't able to actually stay with it, I would put some books under here so that it's not going to flop down. So almost there. Right, now I'm going to cut round the serviette. I don't need to do anything with that side. Picked up an extra piece of paper there because I want to separate it into two pieces. Clear your rubbish as you go. Now, if I separate this, I have two pieces. Don't worry about this because your serviette has 3 layers to it usually. So I can tear that off. And what I like to do is to take my knife. So there's one layer gone. Now if I just ease this up, I can now tear this off. I spend lots of time trying to separate 3-ply napkins, and it's very fiddly. Not anymore with this. So I'm going to take the outside bit. Now I can show you some very expensive paper. Right, this is very expensive paper, but if I open it out, you can see you've got a very similar effect to what we've just done here with your napkin, because you can actually see through it. So I won't tell you how much that cost for the roll, but I'm sure you've seen them in the shops. So I'm going to put that to one side. And we'll go back to this. Now, that was one side. Don't forget that we made it double-sided. So if you have any difficulty, just get your knife or a pin and just peel up the corner. It's not stuck, so it will just peel off. There we go. There's our second one. So from one laminate sheet, we've got these beautiful pale see-through pictures. So I've gone ahead and I've taken here a card. I've die cut an aperture in it. This one I'm not going to put a backing because I want you to see how beautiful it is. So I'm going to take some thin tape. It doesn't have to be red liner. All I wanted was for it to be very near my aperture. So you could use a good wet glue. So I'm going all the way round. You don't want any bits just flapping. So it's my last bit. So let's take a covering off here. So now I can place my covered napkin. I can then move my aperture around, and when I'm happy with how I've got it, I can just place that down and simply cut off the excess level with the edge of my card. So you can do it with scissors, knife, anything you want. But what I wanted to show you is how beautifully the light comes through this. You can see my hand in the background, and that is a really lovely card. Okay, this one again I have that I can put on top of a card. I can put it behind another aperture. I can do all sorts with it, but that's up to you to do the cards you really enjoy. Right, now we've got a really funny one. So what I've done is I have taken a napkin and I have laminated it with, this is die cut of a window. I've laminated it with a napkin behind. So now you get, I don't know whether we can, yeah, you can get the light going through. So it makes a really attractive window to go onto a card. We're going to look at doing this one. Right, this one has actually got two layers of laminate, so we haven't separated this one, but I wanted to show you a different technique. So I'm going to bring in my laminate sheet, and I want the open end down towards me. I'm then going to take my die cut and I'm going to bring it down towards the bottom and close it. So that is how I'm going to laminate my sheet. Now I want to be able to colour in behind this. So what I'm going to do is take that out for the moment, place it behind, and I'm going to take a couple of my little clips that I use so often, and I'm just going to clip underneath so that my die cut doesn't move. Now we're working on the inside of a laminate sheet. Really unusual. So I'm now going to come to this side, put another clip and just flatten it. Now you can only do it where it's a mirror image of I've forgotten the word. It's got to be the same both sides because we're going to flip this in a minute. Now I've got some permanent markers, Sharpie pens, whatever you want to use. You can use alcohol pens, and I'm going to place that onto there. We are using the die as a plan for where we're going to put our colour. So I can colour on the actual laminate, and I like to go right to the edges rather than leave any spaces uncoloured. So I'm going to put orange, go blue all the way around. You can spend a lot of time colouring this with pictures. We're going to go green on the next one. So it doesn't matter my going outside. just going to mark here. I'll do it in blue because it will show up better. Perhaps not. Let's see if I can. This isn't a Sharpie. Maybe orange would show. Ah, there we go. Orange shows up better. Just to mark where my point is across there. Right. We're going to try and do something a bit more fancy here. So we're actually going to colour in small areas. You can just do random blobs if you wish. We basically just want to make it look like a stained glass window. Now, because I've got the little clips on here, right, it does mean I can flip it over just to check that I've got everything covered. See, I've got some space there, so I'm going to just fill in. If you wanted to put a stained glass picture in behind, that would be fine. So I'm just going to hold that up now, and I can see I've got some extra bits. To just fill in. You can take more time over it. Right, I can now unclip this because we want to get our stained glass window in the middle between the two layers. So take that out. I haven't marked this in any way. Now I can place it. I can line it up with my two little marks here. And you can see now I've got my stained glass behind. So I'm now just going to feed that in, and because I've got it down the bottom of my laminate sheet, I'm just waiting until that is fixed nicely there, and then I can let go. Here's the stained glass window coming out. So here's the one I did earlier. Here it comes. Don't ever try and pull them because it needs the time for the heat to really weld it together. So the bottom is level, and now I can just go round . Don't have to be too careful because it is a clear edge to it, so it's not going to stand out and show you up if you haven't quite managed to cut it right. Yep. So there is my stained glass window, and I'm going to place it onto there so you can see all the colours coming through. So obviously you could make it a lovely scene behind. Okay. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you on this one side for the moment, is when I've done this window all of these little bits have dropped out. So I'm going to take this window and just going to attach that to my card. Yep, that's the window attached. Now, all of these little bits, and there's 18 of them that dropped out, can then, I'm going to use wet glue, we can then take our little bricks, which were the window panes, and we can stagger them so it extends our window. I'm only going to do 2 or 3, but traditional bricks would be staggered. That's that. Right. I'm going to do a few down here because I want to show you another bit. Always get your bricks up the right way. Now I'm matching these, so if that is in, that is in. That one's out towards the outside. That one comes inwards. My dad was a bricklayer, so I was brought up with all sorts of crafty bits using up extras. So I'm going to just do that. I think possibly one more down on that side. And I'm not going to add any more here other than that one there, because we're going to look at one more bit we can do with the laminator. Right. I've now got some traditional decoupage pieces. So there we go, some pieces there. So to make them really, really posh, we can put those inside a laminate sheet. So it doesn't matter which way up. And we're going to feed that through. So to move that out the way. I'm just supporting it at the back so the pieces don't drop out before the machine takes them into the back. There we go. And here we've got this coming out. So I'm going to take my scissors. Now it's changed the colours in as much as it now makes them much brighter. So just waiting for the last one to come. There we go. So I can now just roughly cut round just to take the weight off. Yep. I'm only going to use these 2 smaller ones, but so you don't waste any laminate sheet, it pays to put as much through as possible without overlapping. There. So I'm going to use these 2 bits. And I'm going to go all the way around. Now, when I'm cutting near to the edges, I have another little secret in that I put it back through the laminator. But this time it's just going back as it is with no extra laminate piece or anything. And it will just help to seal the edges all the way round. Nearly round. Doesn't matter if you cut the petals. I'm going to cut that one down to a little bit of a point, and I'm going to make that smaller just to show you that you can do all sorts. It's not going to fall apart. It's been welded together. Here's my piece out again, and it is really strong. Let's just finish doing this. So this time, this is a small piece, and I don't want it to get lost inside the machine. So I'm just going to take a piece of copy paper, place it on, and send the copy paper through, and that will take any small bits of decoupage through. There we go. So this is really, really strong now. It's a little bit there I can cut off. But a really nice, here we go. Here's our little bit that's come through there. So again, that is really strong. You can't bend it. I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to take a couple of bits of sticky fixers. Now, if you want to cut sticky fixers, cut them when they're on the strip, because then your scissors don't get gunged up. So that's, we're going to go down with that one. And we're going to come with this one. Now I'm going to just add that one there. And you've got a nice Eastery window. And I say you can spend a lot more time being more precise with your colours, but I just wanted to show you the effect. Okay. So using the scrap from here, we've made the outside bricks, and we've laminated the actual stained glass window, and we've laminated the decoupage. Right, so let's pop that back. Now, there's another window that's laminated both sides. If you wanted it freestanding, you could stick this on the back and have a double window. If you wanted to be able to see it from inside the card and outside, that's a way of doing that one. Now, let's look at this one here. I made a Shadowbox card, and originally I had the word faith on the background here. But this time I've put it inside a sheet. I had to use an A4 for this one. And I can now put that onto the front of my box, stick it all the way around and trim off the excess. And now faith will be really foremost on the card. So let's have a look at how we did that. I've cut out a very fancy fence. Now, normally I did have another card. Oh, that's right. We'll work with this one and we'll put it there. Normally it would be very difficult to put that on and stick it just on the edges there. So I just wanted to show you that you can laminate your different layers. Let's see, that will go just across. So we're going to put that onto there, and if you want to, you can nestle it tightly down to the fold. Saves any worry of it falling out the bottom. This one we're going to use as a window, so we don't want to put any more pieces in there. We want a clear window, and we'll use this one as a demo because I can't find the one I'd put aside. One of the other things while that's coming out is you can die cut these lovely you can die cut the napkins, which if you tried to die cut a napkin normally, there's no way you could do it. So here we have now clear acetate. We've got this encapsulated in the bottom, and if I was wanting to put that on there, right, it's an easy way. Sorry, that went out of shot. It's an easy way to fix things so that you can make multi-layers with your die cuts, and it's easy to do. You haven't got to try and get tiny bits of glue behind all this because it's on one sheet and you're not going to see this bit here. Okay, so there are so many different things that you can do. So on one tutorial, I cannot cover all that I want to. So this will be number 1, and I'll try and do another 2 or 3 over the next few weeks to give you lots more ideas. But do try particularly this technique with the napkin, because that is really super and gives you some lovely designs to play with. Okay, have fun, do experiment being your own designer, and God bless you all.